Philippou, just like in the film we just watched, talk to me. If you give me your paw, we will link minds. Talk to me, Philippou. Let me in. Oh, great. Now I have a strange compulsion to wag my tail, but I don't have one. What have we done? What forces have we unleashed? All right, buckle up. Let's talk. Talk to me. After last week's odd and hugely successful pairing of Barbie and Oppenheimer, this week offers audiences a pair of scary movies, Philippou. In one corner, weighing in at roughly 1 hour and 35 minutes runtime, we have the underdog, A24 Talk to Me. In the other corner, we have a 2 hour and 2 minute heavyweight, Disney's Haunted Mansion. Let's get ready to review! Both films offer scares and give us a grieving protagonist, which through grief communicates to the dead. What are the chances, Philippou? Of course, Haunted Mansion is aimed at a younger audience for their more tame Disney-approved scares, while Talk to Me not only offers genuine thrills and horror, but is also a deep metaphorical exploration of grief as well. Talk to Me is a film that demands a deeper dive to unpack the meanings the filmmakers are possibly trying to convey. So I'll give my non-spoiler review first, followed by a deeper spoiler-filled discussion of the film after. I love horror films with deeper metaphors to unpack, and this one has some good ones. Talk to Me is produced by A24, which comes with high expectations given the high quality and track record of A24's filmography, especially in the horror genre. Talk to Me is directed by Australian brothers and YouTube creators Danny and Michael Philippou in their feature film debut. And what a debut it is! The opening sequence of this film is horrifically jolting and sets the stage for the film quite nicely. The film follows a 17-year-old named Mia who is haunted by the tragic loss of her mother. She struggles with her grief and consistently seeks comfort with her best friend's family, as her mother's death has distanced her relationship with her own father. Things for Mia take a terrifying turn when she discovers a type of dangerous TikTok trend where teens are communicating with the dead. You know, as teens do. That's something they do these days, right, Philippou? Right? Philippou? I'm hip. YOLO? Come on. I'm down. The film uses viral teen culture to effectively set up this premise and use it as a commentary. Imagine a party where you bring out a Ouija board. Instead, you take the hand of a creepy ceramic hand and say, "Talk to me." And then I let you in to allow spirits from the other side to possess you, resulting in a new kind of high. I guess it's nice the spirits ask for your consent first. That's something, I guess, right, Philippou? And your friends are there with phones ready to capture the fun for social media, as your possession results in you acting in wild and embarrassing ways. It's a fun party drug, and the teens give very little consideration for the forces at work, and aren't sure what the consequences could actually be. Like any addictive drug, the more you do it, the better it feels, as it allows you to free yourself from your own personal demons. At least a seemingly temporary relief. The film on the outside acts as both an allegory for drug addiction and dangers of peer pressure. Problem is, they soon find out what happens if you break the rules and allow the possession to overtake you for more than 90 seconds. Philippou, cue the terrifying music. From here, the horror story does not relent, with violence and one of the most terrifying glimpses into the afterlife I have seen. Well, maybe the exception of Beetlejuice being an internal line at the DMV. Oh God, it's scary. The dead are not content with a temporary guest pass to enter the living. Instead, crave a more long-term possession. Talk to Me is masterfully directed and is the reason this film is so effective. This easily could have been a typical cheap horror teen film because it does have some of the framework of the common horror tropes, but the confidence and restraint of their direction takes this film to another level. This includes the decision to use practical effects, which helps establish the film's more realistic tone, as CGI scares automatically take you out of the moment, or at least they do for me. They also create a very believable, creepy atmosphere, and in general, keep the story very simple, wisely focusing on the emotions of the characters during these horrific events. More importantly, our directors give us the time to emotionally connect with the characters. When things go wrong, we care what happens to them. It helps that the entire cast are absolutely wonderful, turning in collaboratively excellent performances all around. Most of them are flawed characters and add a level of interest, even for minor characters. As good as everyone is, the emotional weight is mostly on the shoulders of our lead character, Mia, played by Sophie Wilde. Sophie Wilde is a revelation in this film. Her eyes draw you in to her emotionally fragile despair, deep in her soul. A very powerful and haunting performance, which is critical when the emotional crux of the film depends on this performance. Talk to Me is absolutely the best horror offering this year. A24 has done it again, and easily deserving of a green light. Very green here, Lilu. Now, it's time to talk spoilers and metaphors. If you don't want them, go see the movie and please come back, as the possible meaning of this film is so much fun to discuss. Early on in the film, we see Mia driving with her best friend's brother, both on an emotional high, singing Sia's Chandelier at the top of their lungs. Sing it with me, Lilu. Lilu, a 1, a 2. No, you go. You go first, Lilu. No, you. Seriously. I'm not going to embarrass myself in front of everyone. The one person who's watching this, I'm not going to embarrass myself, Lilu. Huh? Smart. Only soon to suddenly stop the car as they come across a mortally injured kangaroo. With just a look from Sophie Wilde, we know this kangaroo is her in a way, slowly suffering. It has been injured beyond repair, like Mia herself. Refusing to accept her fate, she can't bring herself to put the kangaroo out of its misery, leaving it to suffer as she runs from experiencing more pain and anguish. All of this foreshadowing what is to come. But Mia can't run from the emotion she refuses to confront, which is grief. The mystery and trauma she has experienced when her mom died has left her with unresolved emotional weight and questions. Her grief, unchecked, has become depression, and she tries to hide it from her friends and afraid to talk to anyone about it. She won't let her mom go, holding on to that trauma. Let it go, Lilu. Let it go. When they play the Talk to Me game, the host caution, you can only hold on for 90 seconds. Otherwise, bad things will occur. This seems like a direct metaphor for holding on to your pain and grief for too long. Letting the pain consume you will ultimately take you down a road of self-destruction. By letting it in, you are allowing the dead to take over your waking life and your consciousness. Just like living in real depression takes over your whole identity and consumes you. Living with grief is literally like being possessed, as you are not in control of your own mind. Sitting in the passenger seat, as Mia refers to the experience of letting the spirits in her life. While she finds relief in not being in control, this soon becomes a nightmare she can't break free of. We are better off owning our emotions and experiencing them instead of letting grief build to take possession of your life. The possession TikTok parties are also a bad enabler for someone like Mia. She is having a hard time dealing with her grief on her own. So a destructive outlet like numbing it with drugs and alcohol abuse, is a common coping tactic. Mia is unable to work through her pain, and unlike the rest of the teens, begins to heavily abuse the spirit hand as if it were a form of escapism, like a hard drug. Drugs are not the answer, and pulls her further into the prison of grief and madness. Depression might run deep in her family, as it sounds like her mother struggled and lost the fight to depression as well. Her mother's suicide note, hoping to bring comfort and forgiveness for ending her life, unfortunately results in Mia continuing this cycle herself. Mia doesn't trust her own family and seeks escape in her best friend's family. Ultimately, her self-destruction impacts others around her, as the film indicates with her best friend's brother, who is the only one who really tried to empathize with her, and as a result, gets pulled into the trauma. The spirit seemed to take particular interest in him, as he is the pure virgin sacrifice, common in a lot of horror films. Her father tried to open up to her, but in the end, her mistrust let her possession fool her and hurt him in return. Deep down inside, she fears she is like her mother, so she chooses to distance herself from him. She also had repressed, unresolved feelings for her ex-boyfriend, which, let's just say, had some unexpected consequences. A little toe-licking and foot-sucking, perhaps? This all comes down to denying your feelings and letting them eat you away from the inside. We are not certain if she intentionally or was pushed to sacrifice herself at the end of the film, but regardless, symbolizes she has finally become fully consumed by death. People with depression suffer and begin to see death as the only option out of the daily struggles. After Mia gets hit by the car, it should remind us of the imagery of the kangaroo lying dead on the road from before. We are soon given an unsettling perspective from Mia's character. We sense her confusion as she is swallowed into a sea of darkness. Mia does not see her reflection in the mirror anymore, which was a recurring nightmarish fear of hers earlier in the film. Now, Mia has been successful in fully shutting herself off from the world. She is now surrounded by death. She has become death, destroyer of worlds. Oh wait, that was Oppenheimer, not this movie. Right. In the darkness, she sees a glimmer of light. Most films going to the light means a journey into heaven. Not here. She gets closer and sees a hand extended and finds herself at the other end of the talk to me social media trend. Mia is now a ghost, fully engulfed in death and a lost soul, perhaps indicating the never-ending cycle suicide and depression causes. Mia was once living, but haunted by her mother's ghost, resulting in her becoming one too. Whose life will Mia now affect and haunt, leading them down a path of darkness as well? It's a perfect ending to an amazing horror film. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Do you have another theory on what was happening? Would love to hear it. Drop it in the comments below. Lilu, what is that? Is that a dying kangaroo in the road? Wait, this doesn't even make sense. We don't live in Australia. Is this some kind of weird metaphor? We don't have time for this. Holy shit! Man, I am still haunted by being possessed by you earlier, Lilu. I still just can't get out of my head. The craving for treats. The treats! I need some. We needs the treats to make us happy again. Oh, man, it's tough to be a poodle.